All right, Fiend. We got two more sleeps till the Sweet 16 is here. The Aztecs and the Crimson Tide, San Diego State and Bama. I'm excited, man. I know you're excited. You got the what is that? What is that? The turquoise jersey. Which jersey is that? Who is that?
This is actually that's a Keith Dinwiddie jersey. He's no longer with the team, but
It's all love. It's all love, man.
it's all love, man. Once an Aztec, always an Aztec.
Okay, man. So how are we feeling about this game against the Alabama Crimson Tide? A lot of media attention. Hey, obviously is out there. It's a big game against the number one seed of the number one seeds in the brackets. Alabama, they've got a few losses on their schedule. It's not like they're completely unbeaten. A lot of talk is like, man, this is a big game for the Aztecs. And no matter what happens in this game, man, this team has set their place in Aztecs history. They've accomplished a lot. They've gotten to the expectations. This team had a lot of expectations, this Aztecs team, and they've met all of them, right? So we're at this point now. We're all prisoners of the moment where this game is just a huge game for not only us, but the program. But you know what? We're playing with house money, right? How do you see this game?
I'm cautiously optimistic about this game. I think that we match up pretty well with them, especially on the defensive end. Both teams have been playing their best basketball, I think, towards the end of the season. So Alabama has just been on a tear. They went through the SEC tournaments, and then the first two rounds, they just really have not been tested at all. Aztecs, have kind of kept it close, for most of the games, but pulled them out. And then this last game, we had our best output offensively and defensively, and that's why we blew out Furman. So I'm feeling pretty good about this matchup. I think our guards really need to lock down on their guards in order for us to win. Javon Quinterly for Alabama, he's a transfer from Villanova. I think he's like a fifth year. He is playing out of his mind right now. And he was a big reason why, they've been on this run. He's just playing exceptional basketball. But on the other end, we have Lamont Butler. And Lamont has just been erasing the other team's best guard.
I was going to say, man, since the beginning of the conference tournament, it's like he's taken all these best point guards of the conference, and it's just been the same story.
Yeah, I mean, you can go down the list. You look at Stephen Ashworth, Ryan Larson for College of Charleston. I think he was guarding JP Pegas is his name. That guy had an awful shooting performance. And so I'm feeling pretty good about Lamont Island and him matching up with Quinterly. That's the matchup I'm probably most excited to watch. And I think they're going to be very surprised at how well Lamont is playing on defense, because you're not hearing all the talk you're hearing from national sports guys is how good Alabama is, how good Brandon Miller is, how great Javon Quinterly is playing. You don't hear any mention of Lamont Butler, right?
Yeah.
And so he's going to sneak up on him. Maybe not Alabama itself, because once they watch tape, they'll know he's the real deal. But I think a lot of people are going to be surprised because I think he could really force Javon Quinterly into having one of those bad games. And that's my hope. If he doesn't, if Javon Quinterly goes off on us, it could be a long day for the Aztecs.
I think that's how I see this game, and we have the potential to pull this upset off. It would be an upset. Let's not kid ourselves. But at the same time, a lot of the experts, the pundits, they do see our program as a legit program by now. I mean, we've been around. This program is established. They understand the defensive capabilities of this program and the culture. But I hear what you're saying. I mean, Alabama is Alabama, whether it's football and now basketball, the media, they love to puff them up. They love to hype them up, and for good reason. I'm not saying not for good reason, but the storylines play such a big factor in the brackets and the formation of the brackets, the tournament, right? So Princeton on the other side of the bracket now in this Sweet 16 area, they've got to play Creighton, right? That's going to be a fun matchup. Everybody you hear, they believe Princeton is legit, but they all say Creighton's most likely going to win or should win, and that Creighton has the ability to take down Alabama, right? So how interesting would it be, however, though, San Diego State played Creighton last year in that tournament game, which we all know. Of course, you got the brothers, Adam Seiko and Arthur Kaluma on the other side, the family, the sibling rivalry that we got going on there. So there could be that potential matchup if the Aztecs were to get the best of Alabama. So, you know, it's not one-sided. You know, Alabama, they may have the media and the power conference label under their name. I just hope that this game is fair and square, nothing slanted. You know, we don't see some guys get some early foul trouble that make you scratch your head. Like, let's let these guys play and let the best team on this night win, because man, oh, how juicy would a Creighton San Diego State rematch be? That would be pretty juicy and make for some good story headlines, like I said, with the brothers they're playing again.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I would love to see a rematch with Creighton for us to get some revenge on them from last year. There's been a lot of talk after the first round of the tournament, after Tennessee took out Duke, that the refs weren't calling the games too close. You know, they were letting guys play. And Tennessee is a very physical team. And we're going to go over some tape here of Tennessee's win over Alabama. And I think Tennessee is probably the best comp to San Diego State. And therefore, I think if we can do some of the things that they did, we could, you know, really make it difficult for Alabama. And my concern isn't really that much on the defensive end. I think our defense is going to be there. It's going to be on the offensive end, and to see how we match up and how we're getting our shots, you know, and if we're getting open shots or if we're taking contested ones.
Okay, so at this point, if you are listening to our audio right now, this is probably a good time for you to go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Everybody go get on your phone, your tablet, on your laptop, all that good stuff, and go find Sons of Montezuma on YouTube, because you definitely want to see these visuals. But if you prefer the audio only, that's okay.
Alabama is going to be a big test here.
You go underneath it, Ziegler makes you pay with a three. Ziegler's got 9. He just blew by Griffin, and then a dump off to Plavcic, who lays it up and in. Well, you have to force him into that screen. You cannot let Zakai Ziegler refuse a ball screen and get a straight line run.
Okay, so this is Zakai Ziegler for Tennessee. He's 5'9" point guard. He really hurt Alabama, and at 5'9", that's going to be the same size as Darian Trammell. That's why I think this is a good comp for the Aztecs. Tennessee is a little smaller than Alabama, but I really like the way that they attacked him. So Zakai Ziegler is going to dribble the ball up the court here. He gets a screen from his big guy. Now Alabama is going to overplay the screen. He doesn't go to the left around the screen. He rejects it and just makes a beeline towards the basket. He goes, whoop, drives in. All right, now Charles Bediako, 7-footer with really long arms. If Zakai Ziegler goes up, straight up, he's going to get this blocked. So what he does is he, at the last second, he goes up, makes it look like he's going to lay it in or try to lay it in. Bediako goes for the block, and then he dumps it off to his like 6'11" center. And I just love this play because he challenge, dump off, easy bucket for Tennessee. I do not think that the Aztecs are going to do really well challenging Alabama at the rim one-on-one. I think they need to dump off. You're going to need to pass the ball and get a lot of assists in this game to score. Okay, so this is Wade Taylor for Texas A&M. Great point guard. This is in the SEC championship game against Alabama. I want to show an example of a guard trying to challenge a big and put the ball up and try to shoot over their arms. So Wade Taylor here is going to get a screen, and he's going to make a beeline for the hoop And instead of dumping off to his big, who is down below, he's going to try to lay it in or shoot it actually over Charles Bediako. All right, so he comes in, puts a juke on this guy, goes forward, and he goes up, straight up, and see Bediako there in the paint is up too. But Wade Taylor's center is right underneath the bucket. So in the last clip, Zakai Ziegler went up like that and dumped it off to his big. He tries to go up over Bediako, and it's a bad shot. And what happens on the other end is they're really good at getting out in transition. So as soon as they get the rebound, they got 4 dudes down the court with only 1 back. Like, you're pretty much dead at this point. I mean, you got 4 guys from Alabama coming down. That's a bucket. You have no prayer. Just hands it off. Bediako bucket. And so that is a big concern to me, is if the Aztecs don't take good shots and they don't get back on defense, then Alabama's going to run in transition on them and get easy scores, and they'll run up the score. The Aztecs really want to try to keep this game in about the 60s, run down the clock, grind it out. You don't want it to get into the 70s or 80s, because I don't think that we have the horses or the firepower to to beat Alabama that way.
Sets up their ability to spray it to open shooters that space out so effectively. And Olivia Camlock has to move as the ball moves.
The next thing I want to talk about here is Tennessee and their screens. I think they did a really great job of running sort of double screens to prevent Alabama's guards, who are so good at going over screens. They never duck under screens, but they're really good at going over screens. And if you run one screen, that's usually not going to get your offensive player or your shooter open for, an open shot. So I really like what Tennessee does, which is like setting 2 screens. Okay. And that allows their shooters to get open. The other thing you'll notice is Tennessee always drops their big. So Bediako there, up at the top of the key, is the big guy, and he is going to drop down because he does not want any penetration. He wants to contest anything that comes to the rim. So they're going to allow Tennessee's big to set screens up top. So Zakai Ziegler drives in here, and he passes it off to his center. The center passes it off to the wing, and then Zakai Ziegler goes and sets a screen on Vescovi, who's up on the other wing, on his guy. And then Vescovi's defender, you see how he's really good at getting around screens. So he's trying to go over top, but then Tennessee center then sets another screen. So Vescovi's able to come off a second screen, and you'll see Charles Bediako in the middle. He's trying to prevent any penetration, and so this leaves Vescovi wide open for a 3-point shot. And I think if we run these type of plays and these type of sets, we're going to get open threes. I'm not so sure we're going to get open threes off of just one screen. And he nails the 3.
Bradley doing a good job on Vescovi, making the catches tough. Oh, what a play! Vescovi, the pass!
This is a play that I think Aztecs could run effectively against Alabama. I love this play. Yeah, I think the guards really have to sort of sell it that they're going to drive or they're going to shoot, and then at the last second, you dump it off for the alley-oop dunk. But I love this play. I think if we do a lot of alley-oops, we can get them. That has to be a perfect pass though, because look how long Bediako is. So I mean, a play like this, if we're gonna get buckets at the hoop, we're either gonna need to, pass off to our players underneath the hoop, or we're gonna need to, throw alley-oops. I don't think that we're gonna be able to just lay it in over that dude.
Look, okay, so let's talk about a little bit about that, because that was one of the things we were talking about in the last episode, right, Fiend? That you also wanted to have us draw the big man away from the basket, kind of open up those lanes.
Yeah, I would like to draw Bediako away from, or any of their bigs away from the paint if you can. The thing is, they're going to drop their big, no matter what. But so if you have your big guy setting screens, then your guards are going to get open looks from three.
Is it safe to say Bediako is our biggest guy to keep an eye on the defensive end when we're on offense? I mean, he's their big guy, right?
Yeah, he's their eraser at the rim, but they also have Noah Clowney. They've got a couple, Nick Pringle. They got a couple big guys that are trees. I mean, that are really hard to get shots over. If you're going to attack them, then you need to dish it off to have a guard drive, kick, dish it off to a big guy who can then go up quickly before he's able to react, and maybe you get some body contact and get a foul. I would also like to see if we are gonna challenge them in the paint, I'd rather go into their big guys than go up with the big guys, right? So we use some of our body and our leverage. If they're in the restricted area, you attack them, you go right at them, because if they foul you, that's going to be free throws, right? And you don't have to worry about a charge at that point. So
I think that's one thing we all notice with their team. They are long. I know Coach Dutcher was saying there's a very long team, probably the longest team we're gonna see. I know we played Arkansas, who's got that SEC caliber athlete as well. But this team special is different. So I hear what you're saying. They're long, but they're pretty thin. They're pretty light. So going into them, like what you're saying, that's going to be key. Guys like Ladie, guys like AG, a rope, Bradley, even, he's got that thick frame, those wide shoulders. If these guys can get into their chest, bring that fight, bring the action to them, that could be a different style that, may work in our favor.
Yeah, as long as you're not committing charges. That's the worry, is if you go into them, then you commit a charge. That's why if you can back them down, get them into the restricted area where any of their body, their feet are touching or inside the restricted area, then it's fair game. You do whatever you want at that point. You've won that battle.
Key curl. Misses again.
So, you remember in the St. Mary's game, we ran some screens where Matt Bradley kind of got the dribble handoff and going to his left and got to cut some mid-range shots or shots, at the rim. I think these shots are going to be there for us. They're going to give us the mid-range shots. We just have to knock them down. Like right here, they set a screen, they curl, free throw line. Guy misses it. Should have hit it, but I think that the Aztecs are going to get those kinds of shots, and this is like a perfect shot for Matt Bradley, and he usually hits those. So we're going to have to hit our mid-range shots if we're going to win this game.
Well, if you just think about our makeup, we do have quite a bit of guys that have a pretty good mid-range game, whether it's Ladie, Bradley, even Lamont has a solid mid-range game. I mean, this may
Parrish.
I mean, this game may be a matchup that kind of fits into our favor if we can knock down those shots, right? That's all.
Yeah, if you can make mid-range shots like layups, right? Their strategy is to keep Bediako underneath the rim. Well, if he comes up, tries to stop a mid-range shot, right? Well, then that opens up something underneath, Yeah. So I think the more shots that we hit, the more opportunities we're going to have. The more that we force them to come guard us, right? And then, we might get other opportunities that open up.
Okay, so can we break this down to 3 levels, 3 different things as far as the guard play, the penetration and being able to dish it off, the drawing their bigs away from the basket, like how you showed in some of these videos, and then these mid-range shots, attempts that we're probably going to have, because of the way that they like to defend, which is this is a full week almost that we've had to prepare for Alabama. So that's another reason why I feel good about this game. I feel pretty confident. If this was coming off of a game, where you have 24 hours to turn around, then you're looking at a much tougher task. But the staff has had a couple days now to get this thing dialed down and taught to the guys and get everybody feeling confident and feeling good. So
like when we played it in the Maui Invitational against Arizona, right? And they just absolutely killed us inside. And Ziegler wrote in one of his recent articles that like they couldn't make any adjustments because they just didn't have the time to really put in anything. And so, when we saw them play at against St. Mary's in Phoenix, they hadn't made any of the adjustments that they made after that game when they had time to practice and kind of put in new offense. And so I think having those extra days of preparation are really going to help, and hopefully they can they saw something that they can use either from another team that played Alabama, like say Tennessee, or they noticed something in the tape, in Alabama's tape, that they can exploit. And so I'm just excited. I'm excited to see how this shapes out. I think how we play on offense, though, is going to be a big indicator of whether we win this game or not.
I think things are set up good for us Aztecs fans. If we can get over this game, most likely we'll have Creighton waiting in just over 24 hours. A team we're familiar with. They're familiar with us as well. But man, that matchup would be fun. It would be tailored for us to go in there and have another crack at them. And hey, allow yourself to daydream a little bit and look far ahead. Hey, maybe Arkansas is down there waiting in the wings as well. So man, this could be the total redeem team. How are you feeling? What percentage are you at, Fiend?
For an Aztec victory?
Yeah.
It's above 50%.
Okay.
I think the Aztecs can pull this off. No one else is giving them a shot except Aztec fans, right?
Yeah.
So I think we do match up well with them, and I think we're going to give them problems, especially on the defensive end. I think it's just a matter of whether we're doing the right things on offense and sharing the ball. Sort of the things that we kind of have been, at least I know, complaining about all season. And now it seems like, especially in the last game, they shared the ball really well. And so if we can see that trend moving forward, and then continue to do that and to really buy into the team basketball approach, then, hey, I think we got a shot. So yeah, I'll put it at 51%.
Hey, that's good enough. That's some positivity right there. The power of positivity. Well, listen, everybody, we thank you for joining us on this little show and tell episode of the Sons of Montezuma Kiss the Rings podcast. We hope everybody enjoys the game this Friday night. If you don't have a place to go watch it, we want to encourage you to come down to Ale Smith Brewing up there on Miramar Road, up there in that area. We are all going to be there. I believe 760, the sports station, is going to be doing the pregame there. And of course, Sons of Montezuma, we're going to be in the house. Definitely be there with some music and some good stuff going on. Bring all your positivity. It's always fun to watch games with the Aztec Nation. Fiend, man, thank you for these couple moments and these examples to give us a little more insight into what we're gonna see on Friday. And I agree with you, man. I'm above 50%. I'm above 50. I'm feeling more like a 60. Hey, let's do it. Let's beat Bama. Take them down.
I probably am more. Yeah. I'll give me 75. 75%.
Raise the stakes. 100.
I raise
all
it up,
in.
man.
100%.
I'm not gonna go 100%. I mean, this is the number one team in the country we're talking about.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for joining. We'll see you all Friday. Until then, sonsofmontezuma.com. Go Aztecs. Beat Bama.
Go Aztecs.
Go Aztecs!
We nothing hit the mat. You see the mountains? I got you back. Bars in our court and we ain't dropping it. Blood, sweat, tears, bro. Ain't no stopping it. With team on 3 and family on 6. And when you hit done, it all means this. We game time ready.